Marcus Thompson had been invisible for 5 years. Just another face in a crowded garage, fixing everyday problems with everyday cars. Until the day an arrogant BMW driver made the mistake of underestimating him, and journalists started digging into why the greatest automotive engineer of his generation was hiding in plain sight. Welcome to Human Stories. Before we begin this powerful story, tell us in the comments which city you're watching from today, and if you believe stories like this need to be heard, hit that subscribe button. Marcus Thompson had been invisible for 5 years, just another face in a crowded garage, fixing everyday problems with everyday cars. Until the day an arrogant BMW driver made the mistake of underestimating him, and journalists started digging into why the greatest automotive engineer of his generation was hiding in plain sight. Thompson Automotive in Riverside sat in an old building on the city's busiest street. From the outside, it looked like any ordinary repair shop. Peeling paint on the sign, oil-stained concrete, and 3 bay doors that were always open. Inside, 6 mechanics worked, but none of them were as quiet as Marcus Thompson. Marcus arrived every morning at 7 sharp, never late, never early. He was 58 years old, medium height, gray-haired, and carried 30 years of experience in his hands. He always wore the same navy blue coveralls with a small name tag that simply read Marcus. While other mechanics joked around and played music, Marcus worked in silence. His boss, Robert Davies, hadn't asked many questions when he hired Marcus. He'd only asked about experience, and Marcus had said 30 years. When asked where he'd worked, the answer was various places. But Marcus's hands did the talking. Whatever engine he encountered, he'd listen once, look once, and instantly know what the problem was. For 5 years, Marcus never arrived late, never complained, never talked about his personal life. Customers would come in and usually prefer the younger mechanics. Marcus was often the last choice, but those who chose him never regretted it. Everything changed on Tuesday, November 18th. A BMW X7 pulled up to the garage. Latest model, glossy black, every detail perfect. Out stepped Richard Blackwell, owner of Riverside's largest real estate company. 37 years old, wealthy, successful, and he wanted everyone to know it. Blackwell surveyed the garage interior and wrinkled his nose. "Hello," he said loudly. "My BMW is making strange noises. Who's your best mechanic?" Robert Davies looked up from behind the counter. Marcus had just closed the hood on a Honda and was wiping his hands. "Marcus," Davies said, "can you take a look at the BMW?" Blackwell looked at Marcus. The old man, with his worn coveralls, greasy hands, and quiet demeanor, didn't look particularly impressive. "This guy?" he asked, not hiding his distaste. "Marcus is our most experienced man," Davies said. 30 years of experience." Blackwell laughed. 30 years fixing Hondas is different from fixing BMWs. Do you have someone younger, more current? Jim and Sarah had also turned their attention to the scene. An electric tension filled the garage. Marcus slowly placed his rag on the workbench. "What kind of noises?" he asked quietly. Blackwell looked down at him condescendingly. "I don't know. You're the mechanic. You tell me." "Knocking, squeaking, or rumbling," Marcus continued. "Mixed noises," Blackwell waved his hand dismissively. "Just fix it, but be careful. This car costs more than your salary." Marcus nodded and walked toward the BMW. He opened the hood and listened to the engine. Blackwell stepped back, worried about oil stains from the coveralls touching his car. "Strut assembly," Marcus said after 5 minutes. "Left front strut needs replacement. Shock absorber is worn." "How much?" Blackwell asked. $600, parts included," Davies answered. $600. For something this simple? BMW service would do it in 2 hours. Marcus shrugged. "You can go to BMW service." This response angered Blackwell. "Don't talk to me like that. I'm the customer." Marcus looked up, meeting Blackwell's eyes directly for the first time. "You're not paying anything yet," he said quietly. We haven't started work." Blackwell's face reddened. "Robert, do you see how this man treats customers?" "Listen, old man," Blackwell continued with a mocking tone. "There's a big difference between fixing Hondas in this little garage and fixing a BMW X7. I don't think you have the capacity to understand this car's technology." Marcus began wiping his hands. "You're right," he said quietly. Blackwell grinned triumphantly. "Of course I'm right. Do you know what this car is worth? This isn't just a car, it's a masterpiece of German engineering." Marcus nodded. "BMW's N63 engine is really impressive," he said quietly. "Twin-turbo, direct injection, Venos variable valve timing." Blackwell paused. "What did you say?" "Do you know how the twin-scroll turbo system works?" Marcus continued. "Separate turbo channels for each cylinder, preventing exhaust gas mixing. Better gas flow, less turbo lag." Blackwell's grin faded. "Of course, the Venos system is a bit problematic," Marcus continued. "Second-generation Venos had timing chainwear issues. Your car is a 2021 model, right? That has third-generation Venos, much more reliable." Silence fell over the garage. Blackwell's mouth hung slightly open. "But your real problem is in the strut assembly." Marcus leaned against the workbench. "BMW's adaptive damping system is electronically controlled. Your left front strut probably has a faulty hall sensor. That's why you're hearing mixed noises." Jim and Sarah exchanged glances. How did he know these technical details? "But you're right, Mr. Blackwell. I'm just an old man who fixes small cars. I recommend you go to BMW service." Blackwell tried to recover. How do you know these technical things?" Marcus turned back to the Honda. "Experience." "What experience? Where did you work?" "Various places." "What places?" Blackwell insisted. "Who are you?" he finally shouted. Marcus looked at him. "I studied automotive engineering." "Where?" "MIT." Everyone in the garage froze. MIT was one of the world's most prestigious engineering universities. "MIT? You?" Blackwell couldn't believe it. Marcus pulled out a yellowed card from his wallet and handed it to Blackwell. It was a genuine MIT graduation card. Marcus Thompson, Mechanical Engineering, 1987. "So, why are you working here?" "Because I want to." Sarah asked, "Marcus, what companies did you work for?" Marcus hesitated. "General Motors for 3 years, Ford for 5 years. Then," Blackwell continued, "private sector." "Which company?" Marcus took a deep breath. "McLaren." Everyone froze. McLaren was a Formula One team and supercar manufacturer. "You worked at McLaren?" Blackwell's eyes widened. "Yes." "In what position?" "Engine engineer." "On the F1 team?" Marcus nodded. Sarah asked breathlessly, "What years?" 1995 to 2003, Jim calculated. Late 90s, early 2000s. That was McLaren's most successful period. "Were you on McLaren's engine team? Did you design the cars that won Mika Häkkinen championships?" Blackwell was almost shouting. Marcus remained silent. "Is this real?" "Mr. Blackwell, if you want your car repaired, it'll be ready in 2 hours." "No, answer me. Did you really work at McLaren?" "I did." "Why did you leave?" "Personal reasons." "What reasons?" "I said personal." Blackwell looked frantic. "You're a McLaren engine engineer. You designed Formula One championship cars. This doesn't change how I look at your car. The strut needs replacement." Sarah asked, "Did you really design F1 cars?" Marcus nodded. MP 413, MP 414, MP 415, MP 416, MP 417. And I worked on engine development for the McLaren F1 road car. McLaren F1. That car goes 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, Blackwell murmured. 3.1, Marcus corrected. "Did you design that car's engine?" "I was part of the team." Blackwell held his head in his hands. "God, I called you an old man." Marcus walked toward the BMW. "Do you want your car repaired?" "Yes, please, I'm sorry. You didn't need to know. A customer is a customer." 2 hours later, Marcus had finished the job. The BMW ran perfectly. Blackwell took a test drive and returned with sparkling eyes. "It's never run this smoothly." Blackwell paid $1,000 instead of $600. Before leaving, he stopped. "Marcus, one last question. Why did you leave Formula One?" Marcus thought. "Because I got tired of just making fast cars. Fixing people's everyday cars felt more meaningful. But the story didn't end there. Blackwell, with his big mouth, told everyone the story. Within 3 days, it was on everyone's lips in Riverside. Local newspaper editor Susan Wells investigated, and McLaren colleagues confirmed Marcus. "Marcus Thompson really worked on our team," they said. "Very talented engineer, quiet but brilliant. We don't know why he left." Susan wrote the story. That week it appeared on the front page of the Riverside Gazette. "Hidden legend, McLaren's former engine genius lives among us." The story shook the town. People started gathering at the garage to see Marcus. Car enthusiasts, F1 fans, journalists. But Marcus refused interviews. Famous automotive journalist David Harrison came. "Just a few questions," he said, "about McLaren cars from that era." Memories of the past appeared in Marcus's eyes. Häkkinen was a very disciplined driver. He wanted to know every detail about the engine. David Coulthard was also on the team. Yes, David was more artistic, intuitive, but very talented. Harrison got excited. How did those cars achieve such success? Marcus paused, thought. Teamwork. Everyone worked for perfection. I was just a small part. But your engine design. I didn't do it alone. It was team effort. Harrison asked questions for hours. Marcus answered some, deflected others. But one thing was clear. This man really was part of Formula One history. The story leaked to national press, CNN, ESPN, Autosport magazine. Everyone wanted to write about the secret F1 legend. But Marcus avoided the media. "I'm not that man anymore," he told Davies. "I'm Marcus Thompson, mechanic. Nothing else." But why Marcus? Why leave such a big career? Marcus thought for a long time. Because some things are more important than money and fame. Like what? Peace, real friendship, meaningful work. Days passed, but interest didn't fade. Formula One fans came from around the world. McLaren even tried to contact Marcus. Former teammates called, but Marcus didn't change. He came at 7 every morning, worked quietly, left at 5. Same coveralls, same humility. One day, a young engineering student came. "Mr. Thompson, you're my hero. Your work at McLaren was incredible." Marcus looked at him. "I'm not a hero, son. Just a man doing his job." "But you changed Formula One history." "No." Marcus shook his head. "I just developed engines. The real heroes are here. Robert, Jim, Sarah. They make people's lives easier every day." The student didn't understand, but Marcus continued. "In F1, we were just making toys for rich people. Here we help people get to work, visit their families. This is more valuable." Months passed. Media interest faded, but Marcus's story became legend. In the F1 world, he became known as the lost genius. But he continued acting as if nothing had changed. One day, Blackwell came back. "Marcus," he said, "I'm proud of you." "Why?" "Because you showed what a real man is. You didn't chase fame and money. You chose your own peace." Marcus smiled. "I just decided to be happy, Richard. Success doesn't always mean money and fame." And so Marcus Thompson, Formula One legend, continued working in his small Riverside garage, because he knew where real happiness, peace, and meaning could be found. Have you ever met someone like Marcus? Someone who seemed ordinary but had an extraordinary past? Share in the comments, and if you believe stories like this need to be heard, don't forget to subscribe.